I applied for a $90,000 equipment loan, and the paperwork caught my wife cheating. Not a text message, not a hotel charge, a loan application, a nervous banker, and one accountant doing her job. Boring paperwork catches careful liars every single time. I am 52, and I own a landscaping company out west. Started it at 29 with one used mower and a truck that drank oil. 2 years later, I got married. So the company is older than the marriage. Write that down somewhere. It decides money later. Today, it is 6 crews, 14 employees, and every gas station owner knows me. My wife is 50. She worked at a bank when we met. Teller line, sharp with numbers. Year 2 of the marriage, the company outgrew my shoebox of receipts. She quit the bank and took over my books from a desk in the spare room. It was the obvious move, and for 2 decades, it looked like the right one. Invoices out, payables in, payroll, taxes, all of it. I cut grass and bid jobs. She moved the money. People called us a machine, and for years they were right. Every payday she put a stack of checks in front of me at breakfast. Vendors, fuel cards, insurance, a coffee refill, sign here, here, here. I signed by rhythm, the way you do after 1,000 paydays. Hold that picture because it is the worst part of this story. Our daughter is 20, second year of college, wants to teach. That girl is the only contract I never once regretted signing. The banker is a kid I have known since he opened accounts at 24. He apologized twice while explaining the new review rules. Anything over $75,000 now needs outside eyes, he said, company policy. I grumbled about it in the parking lot like an old man. If I could find that kid today, I would buy him a steak dinner. Now, the loan. This past spring, I wanted to add a skid steer and 2 mowers, $90,000, financed, normal growth, boring as a brochure, except my bank had new rules for loans that size. They wanted financials reviewed by an outside CPA, 23 years in business, and I had never hired one. Why would I? The books lived in my house, run by the person I slept beside. I hired a CPA one town over, a woman about my age, very calm. She quoted me a flat fee and said it would take 2 weeks. It took 4 days for my phone to ring. She asked me to come in, and she asked me to come in alone. That word, alone, sat in my stomach the whole drive. Her office smelled like coffee and printer toner. On the desk sat a single printed page, turned to face my chair. 14 lines, 14 checks, written across 26 months. Everyone made out to a company called C&R Construction. Everyone coded in my books as subcontractor, irrigation. The total at the bottom said $61,400. She let me read it twice before she spoke. Then she said, "Walk me through your irrigation subcontracting." I run no irrigation subs, never have. My guys trench and lay line in-house. It is half our margin. I told her that, and she nodded like a doctor confirming a shadow. She said, "Then we have a problem with the bookkeeper." The bookkeeper. She did not know yet that the bookkeeper slept in my bed. There is one detail I made myself admit in that office. Half those checks had my signature on them. Payday breakfast, sign here, here, here. She put them in the stack maybe twice a year, salted between vendors. I caught my wife cheating, and my signature helped pay for it. That is what a blind spot really is. A crime scene you initialed. I knew C&R the way you know a name through a wall. 3 years back, we remodeled our kitchen. New island, new cabinets, the works. My wife managed the whole project. The contractor was a tall guy, my age, joked with everybody. His name was Craig. The C in C&R is Craig. I sat in that CPA's office and did the math nobody wants to do. The kitchen finished 3 years ago. The first check to C&R cleared 26 months ago. The remodel ended and the payments started. My wife had been paying her contractor long after the cabinets hung. The CPA watched me get there and slid over a second page. The checks clustered around the same dates every month, the 9th and the 23rd, like a payroll, like he was on my payroll. Honestly, that detail burned worse than the total. $61,400 of my crew's sweat, scheduled like a salary. I asked her what happens to my loan. She said, "The loan is the least of your problems," and she was kind about it. She gave me the line I now repeat to every business owner I meet. A spouse on the books is a blind spot with a password. I did not drive home. I drove to a job site and watched my lead crew edge a hospital lawn. Perfect lines, 30 years of muscle memory, nothing crooked anywhere. I needed to look at one thing I built that was still true. Then I called a divorce attorney from the truck. My lawyer turned out to be a quiet man who bills in 6-minute slices. No jokes, no speeches, a yellow notepad, and a door that shut softly. I put the CPA's page on his desk and said, "Tell me what this is." He read all 14 lines without changing his face. He said, "In this state, that page does more than a confession would. Our state does not care about the affair." He said, "Not one factor. No fault, start to finish. The heart is not on the worksheet, but the money is. The money is always on the worksheet." He called it dissipation, and he drew me a picture on the notepad, a pot of marital money, and a hand quietly scooping it out the back. "The court's fix is simple," he said. "We pour the scooped money back in on paper. Then she gets her share charged for what she took. They recapture it," was the word. "You do not get revenge in this state," he said. "You get arithmetic." Then he gave me the bad news, because there is always bad news. Remember how my company is 2 years older than my marriage? I thought that made it untouchable, separate, mine. He shook his head slow, like he had ruined this dream before. Here, the growth happens during the marriage, and growth is marital. The company I started before her got built bigger during her. That bigger part, the appreciation, sits on the table in the split. 21 years of growth on the table. I will not lie to you. That one made me stand up and walk to the window. 6 crews on the table because of a statute I had never read. He let me stand there. Then he handed me the part that saved my month. The same statute that opens your company also bills her theft. Her dissipation gets recaptured before one blade of grass divides. The $61,400 comes off her side, plus what the forensic work costs. "Sit back down," he said. "We have math to do." I did not confront her that night, and here is my honest reason. 14 checks is what the CPA found in 4 days. I wanted to know what she would find in 30. My lawyer hired a forensic accountant, and we let the books talk. Those 30 days were the strangest acting job of my life. I bid jobs, ate dinners, watched playoff games beside her on the couch. She balanced my books on her desk while a stranger rebuilt them in secret. Our anniversary landed in the middle of it, number 21. She booked our usual steakhouse, and I sat through all 4 courses. She toasted to us, and I drank to the forensic deadline. I am not proud of how easy the acting came, but evidence does not wait politely while you process your feelings. I backed up 23 years of company records to a drive my lawyer held, quietly, on advice of counsel, copies, not removals. If the books were going to start lying louder, I wanted the originals. The full count came back at $61,400 in checks, exactly as found, plus $4,100 in materials our company bought that never hit a job site. Sod, pavers, a smart irrigation controller, top of the line. I sell those controllers. I know the box. The forensic report listed the delivery address for the pavers, a rental house on the other end of the county. Craig's rental house. My company had landscaped my wife's boyfriend's backyard for free. If you are waiting for me to laugh about that one, keep waiting. There was one more line in the report, and it was the one that cut. Our daughter's college fund showed a skipped year. The 529 deposit, $6,000, every year since she was born. Skipped 2 years ago, the same season the checks to CNR got bigger. My wife funded a man's backyard while our daughter's year went unpaid. I read that line maybe 10 times. The affair made me angry. That line made me done. The confrontation happened on a weeknight, papers already drafted. I put 3 pages on the kitchen island that Craig built, the 14 checks, the pavers, the skipped 529. I said one sentence. The accountant found all of it, so tell me the part she could not find. My wife looked at the pages for a long minute. Then she said, "You were never supposed to need a CPA." Think about that answer. Not an apology. A review of her own security procedures. The marriage finished right there, on a counter the boyfriend installed. Everything after was process. She packed 2 bags that night, and her sister came and got her. Nobody screamed, which somehow made it worse and easier at once. On advice of counsel, the company account got new signature cards. The company is the LLC's money, and she was a signer, not an owner. Our joint accounts stayed exactly as they were, untouched, watched. This state has rules about money once a case starts, and I follow rules. Her sister called me before she did, which tells you the order of operations. She said the family was heartbroken and asked what they could do. I said, nothing and thank you, and I meant both words. Her parents are good people who got handed a bad chapter. I still plow her father's driveway when it snows, and we do not discuss it. That first week, I called my crew leads into the shop at 6:40 one morning. 6 men who have buried parents and built fences with me. I said, the company is fine. The books are getting an upgrade. That is all. Rumors die fast when the paychecks clear on time, and mine always clear. A bookkeeping service ran payroll for the bridge months. 2 women in a strip mall office who treated my books like a stranger's, which, it turns out, is exactly how books should be treated. Her version arrived in installments over the following weeks. It started during the remodel, the last month of it. It cooled off, then it did not. The checks began as one favor, a loan for his truck repair. Then the favors got a schedule. She always meant to pay it back, she said. The classic. There is no paying back money I never knew was leaving. That is not a loan. That is an allowance for a man I did not know I was sponsoring. I did call the sheriff's office because half of you would ask. A detective listened, took notes, and was straight with me. Spouse moving marital money to a third party reads civil, not criminal. She had signature authority on the account. That was the whole show. He said, your fight is in divorce court, and your odds there are good. I shook his hand and crossed criminal court off my list. I want you to hear that clearly, because comment sections love handcuffs. Nobody got arrested in this story. What happened instead was worse for them and better for me. Craig came to a job site of mine before the lawyers ever reached him. Rolled up at 7:15 in the morning with a box of donuts for my crew. This guy brought donuts like it was a bake sale and not a betrayal. He said, can we talk for a minute, man to man? Second man this year to offer me man to man at a work site. I said, everything you want to say it to the address on the letterhead. He looked confused. The letter had not arrived yet. It arrived 2 days later, and the donut visit stopped forever. Craig's real problem was never the affair. His problem was his own invoices. 14 invoices to my company, signed, for work that never happened. False paperwork to a business is its own kind of trouble. My lawyer's letter held 3 exhibits and 2 options. Repay the money on a payment plan, confidential, civil, quiet, or defend a fraud claim while the county licensing office reads along. Contractors live and die by that license. His lawyer called inside a week, very friendly, very motivated. The agreement came back at $48,000, secured, 36 months of payments, less than the full bleed, and I took it, and here is why. Before the comments do the math, no, I did not collect twice. Craig's payments route through the divorce worksheet as credits. Every check he writes shrinks what her side owes on the recapture. One debt, two debtors, zero double dipping. My lawyer was strict on it. Two pockets stood behind one betrayal, and the estate got made whole once. There was a sentence in that settlement I want to read you. This agreement is not an admission of any wrongdoing. $48,000 of not admitting anything. Lawyers are magicians. I say that with respect. The business appraisal took 6 weeks in the middle of everything. A man in clean boots walked my yards, counting trucks and trailers. My crews thought it was an insurance audit, and I let them think it. He valued the whole operation down to the backpack blowers. Watching a stranger price 23 years of your sweat is its own experience. My daughter came home for spring break in the thick of it. We assembled a grill on my new patio and said almost nothing for hours. Some kids need talks. Mine needed a 64-piece grill and a father who stayed put, so that is what she got. The divorce itself ran 8 months, and the recapture held the middle. Her lawyer argued the checks were household spending, loosely managed. My lawyer stacked the exhibits like pallets, the fake coding, the payroll dates, the skipped 529, the free pavers. He saved my payday signatures for last, and he reframed them. A forged trust, he called it, executed 14 times at a breakfast table. 2 weeks before the final hearing, her side floated a package deal. She would walk away from my company's appreciation claim. In exchange, I would drop the recapture and the fee request. My lawyer slid the offer across and said, "They are scared of the worksheet." I said no in under a minute. You do not trade a fact for a threat, and the checks were facts. The judge did not raise her voice once, which scared me more. At the end, she used one line I will keep forever. These books were not loose. Counsel, they were laundered tight. The recapture went on the worksheet at the full $61,400. The dissipated money got added back as if it never left. Her share paid for it, dollar for dollar, before the split started. The company appraisal came in, and yes, the growth was marital. 21 years of appreciation, valued, on the table like he warned. Here is how the table actually settled. She had a retirement account from her bank years, premarital, grown big. Same statute, same rule. Her growth was on the table too. Her appreciation offset a chunk of mine, clean swap on paper. The recaptured $61,400, and the fee award covered most of the rest. I refinanced one truck and wrote one check, and the company stayed whole. All 6 crews, all 14 employees, every mower still mine. The house went on the market in the spring, and the worksheet carved the equity. The buyers walked through and fell in love with the kitchen. The agent called it the heart of the home. I signed the disclosure forms and let them love it. Some demolition you do with a sledgehammer. Some you do with the closing date. My daughter heard the whole thing from me, in person, at her campus. I drove 2 hours and bought her terrible cafeteria coffee. We sat by a window while undergrads argued about a group project. I told her the money part's plain because she is an adult. I told her the 529 part last because I knew what it would do. She was quiet. Then she asked one question. "Did you fix my year?" I said, "The worksheet fixed it with interest." She nodded, and then she went to class because that is who she is. She spends school breaks at my place. Her mother gets dinners when my daughter offers them. I do not manage that. and I will not start. The 529 sits full now, every skipped dollar restored, plus the gap years. First family of mine to finish college, on schedule, fully funded. As for my wife, my ex-wife, she lives 2 towns over. She does the books for a chain of nail salons now. I know because a crew lead's wife gets her nails done there. Somebody else's money, somebody else's blind spot, not my circus. Craig still pays his $1,333 every month, 19 payments left. His check's clear on the 9th. I did not pick that date. His lawyer did, and I have never asked if it was a joke. Craig and my ex-wife did not survive the discount. Funny how the romance thins out when the invoices go honest. He is engaged again, I hear, to a woman who owns a hot tub store. I genuinely wish her a good CPA. The spare room is not an office anymore. I gave the desk to a crew lead's kid who just started college. There is a rowing machine in there now and one stubborn plant. The plant was hers, and it refuses to die, and I respect it too much to help it. The company runs different now, and better. The CPA from 1 town over does my books monthly, flat fee. Every statement, every code, 4 eyes minimum, no family discount. She found the whole thing in 4 days, flat fee, no drama. Best $61,400 lesson a man ever bought at a discount. The $90,000 loan, by the way, got approved in the fall. New skid steer, 2 mowers, clean reviewed financials. The banker apologized for all the extra paperwork. I told him the paperwork was the best thing that ever happened to me. He laughed like I was joking. I let him laugh. I sign every company check myself now, slowly, all of them. Payday breakfasts are for eggs again, the way they should have been. Last week, I bid a backyard renovation for a young couple. New sod, lighting, a fire pit, the works. The husband pulled me aside at the truck and asked, man to man, 3rd one this year, I swear the phrase follows me. Is it worth doing the big version? He asked, or should we go cheap? I looked at his house, his wife waving from the porch, his whole setup. I said, do the big version and check the invoices yourself. Both halves of that sentence are the same advice. He will figure that out someday, or better, he never will. My crews planted 9 trees on that job. Straight lines, deep roots, the kind of work that outlives the worker. That is all I ever wanted from my name on a truck. It took a $90,000 loan and a 4-day audit to clear the weeds I could not see. The mowers run, the books balance, and my daughter graduates in May. See you in the next one.